Okay, so we are at stage 10, paragraph page 919. Last headword was choke, new word, type of lesson. Okay, so let's
Right.
start with our revision. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. First question. What do we use a spade for? What do we use a spade for? We use a spade
We
for
use
digging
a spade
holes in the
for
earth.
digging hole
In
earth
the earth.
in the earth.
Very good. Do you enjoy staying in big resorts when you go on holiday? Do you enjoy staying in big resorts when you go on holiday? Yes or no?
Yes,
I enjoy
I
staying
enjoy
in big
staying
resorts when I go
in, in,
in big
in big
resorts
resorts
when
in
I
big
go
resorts
on holiday.
when I go on holiday
Very good. Why? Why? Because?
because there are many attractive facilities.
Very good. Okay, next, what kind of things are often made of brass? What kind of things are often made of
Mm.
brass? Door handles, locks,
Door handles,
keys,
lock,
and musical
key,
instruments.
mi-
And musical
musical
instruments
musical instruments
are often made of brass.
are often made of brass.
Very good. If you went to the doctor complaining of a cough, what part of your body would the doctor examine? If you went to the doctor complaining of a cough, what part of your body would the doctor examine?
Mm.
If I went to the doctor
If I went
complaining
to the
of a
doctor
cough, the
complaining
doctor
a cough, a doctor
would examine my throat
would
and chest.
examine with and chest
Well, would examine my throat
would examine my throat
and chest.
uh, and chest.
Very good. If you saw a child walking towards a beach with a bucket and spade in their hand, what would you think they were going to do? If you saw a child walking towards a beach with a bucket and spade in their hand, what would you think they were going to do? If I saw a child
If I saw
walking
a child
towards a
walking
beach
to to a beach
with a bucket and a
with a
spade
bucket
in their
and a
hand,
spade
I
in the
think
hand,
they were going
I think
to build
they were
a
going
sand castle.
to build a sand castle.
Ragged, what kind of work does a mechanic do? What kind of work does a mechanic do? A mechanic repairs
A mechanic
cars and other
repairs cars
machines.
and other machines.
Very good. What do we mean when we say that somebody does something in a mechanical manner? What do we mean when we say that somebody does something in a mechanical manner? When we say that
When we
somebody
say
does something
that somebody that
in a
does something
mechanical manner,
in a mechanical
we
manner,
mean that they
we mean
do it
that
like a machine.
they they do it like a machine.
In other words,
In the
without
words, other
thinking
words,
about
without thinking about
or needing to think about
or or needing to think about
what they are doing.
what they're doing.
Very good. What's a bus shelter? What's a bus shelter? A bus shelter is a
A bus
small
shelter
construction
is a
which
small construction
shelters us from the wind
with shelter from the wind
and rain while we
and the
are
rain
waiting for a bus.
while we are waiting for a rest
For a bus.
for the bus.
Very good. What's an avenue? What's an avenue? An avenue is a
An
road
avenue
with
is a
tree
road
on either side.
with tree,
With
with a tree with a tree
uh,
either side
with trees on either side.
with tree on either side,
Or it can be a
or
wide
it can
street
be a wide
with
street
buildings on either side.
with buildings on the either side.
Very good. What's the noun of the adjective broad? What's the noun of the adjective broad? The noun of the
The
adjective
noun
broad is breadth.
of the adjective is breadth.
Very good. Okay. What's a bundle? What's a bundle? A bundle is a number
A
of
bundle
articles
is a number
or
of the
objects
article or object
fastened together.
fastened together.
Weged, when you
Fastened together.
pack a suitcase, do you put everything in just anyhow? When you pack a suitcase, do you put everything in just anyhow? Yes or
Mm,
no?
yes.
When I pack a suitcase,
When I put,
I put everything.
when I put
Oh,
everything.
yes. When I
Yes.
pack
When I pack
a suitcase,
a
I put
suitcase,
everything
I put
in
everything
just anyhow.
in just anyhow.
Very good. What's a saw? What's a saw? A saw is a
A
tool
saw
used
is a
for
tool
cutting
used
wood,
for
metal,
cutting wood,
etc.
metal, etc.
What's the noun of the adjective honest? What's the noun of the adjective honest? The noun of the
The noun
adjective honest
of
is honesty.
the adjective is honesty.
Of the adjective honest is honesty.
Is, is the oh,
Well, one more.
is
The
the
noun
oh, the
of the
noun
adjective honest.
of the honest
Of the adjective honest
of the honest
is honesty.
is honesty.
Very good. What's the opposite of honesty? What's the opposite of honesty? The opposite of
The
honesty
opposite
is
of honesty
dishonesty.
is dishonesty.
Very good. Okay, what is a cottage? What is a cottage? A cottage is
A
generally
cottage
thought of
is generally thought of
as a small house
as a small house
in the country.
in the country.
Very good. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? My favorite flavor of
My
ice cream
favorite flavor of ice cream
is
is is vanilla taste.
very good. One more. My favorite flavor
My favorite flavor
of ice cream is vanilla.
of ice cream is vanilla.
Very good. Okay. What does a king or queen wear on their head for ceremonial occasions? What does a king or queen wear on their heads for ceremonial occasions? A king or queen
A king or
wears a
queen
crown
wear a
on
crown
their head
on their head
for ceremonial occasions.
for ceremonial occasions.
Very good. What is fur? What is fur? Fur is the thick,
Fur
soft
is the thick,
hair that
soft
covers
hair
animals
covers animals
like cats and dogs.
like cats and dogs.
Very good. Do you prefer wristwatches with leather straps or metal straps? Do you prefer wristwatches with leather straps or metal straps? I prefer
I
wristwatches
prefer
with
these watches with leather
strap.
strap.
Do people strap themselves in the car? Why do people strap themselves into a car? People strap
People
themselves into a
strap
car
themselves
so that
into a car
if there is
so that
an accident,
if there is
they will
an
not
accident,
be thrown about.
there
They will
will
not
not be they will not
be thrown about.
be thrown about.
Very good. Okay, next. Would you be more comfortable at the moment if your seat had a cushion on it? Would you be more comfortable at the moment if your seat had a cushion on it? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'd be more
I be
comfortable
more
at the moment
comfortable
if
at
my
the
seat
moment
had a
if my
cushion
seat
on it.
had a cushion on it.
Very good. Is it possible to whistle by sucking instead of blowing? Is it possible to whistle by sucking instead of blowing? Yes, it's
Yes,
possible to whistle
it was
by
to whistle
sucking instead
by
of
sucking
blowing.
instead of blowing.
About what age do children usually stop sucking their thumbs? About what age do children usually stop sucking their thumbs? Children usually stop
Children
sucking their
usually stop
thumbs
suck
at
their
about.
thumb at about 5 years old.
Very good. Are the clothes that models wear in fashion shows often quite extraordinary? Are the clothes that models wear at fashion shows often quite extraordinary?
Mhm.
Yes, the clothes
Yes,
that
the
models
clothes
wear
that
at
more
fashion
model wear
shows
at fashion
are
shows
often quite
are often
extraordinary.
extraordinary,
Are often quite
are often quite
extraordinary.
extraordinary.
Greg, do you believe in fate? Do you believe in fate? Yes or no?
Mm. Yes,
I believe in fate.
I be
I
I believe
believe
in
in
fate.
fate. Who is responsible for deciding the fate of a criminal in the
I
law court?
believe in
Who is responsible for deciding the fate of a criminal
the,
in the law court? The judge and jury are responsible
judge
for deciding
and
the
jury
fate of a
are responsible
criminal in a law
for
court.
decide the fate of the criminal in a law court.
Very good. If you arrive at an airport and discover that your flight was delayed for 5 hours, what would you do in the meantime? If you arrive at an airport and discover that your flight was delayed for 5 hours, what would you do in the meantime? If I arrive
Mm.
at an airport
If I arrive
and
at an
discovered
airport
that my flight
and
was
discover
delayed
my,
for five
my flight
hours,
was delayed for 5 hours,
I'd,
I'd read a book.
in the meantime,
In the meantime,
very good. What percentage of population do you think smokes? What percentage of the population do you think smokes? I think
mm,
about
mm, I think about 5%
of the population smokes.
of the population smoke.
Very good. What do we sweep a floor with? What do we sweep a floor with?
Mm.
We sweep a floor with a broom.
We sweep the floor with broom.
Very good. What's the danger of letting babies suck small objects like coins and other bits of
Mm.
metal? What's the danger of letting babies suck small objects like coins and other bits of metal? The danger of letting babies
Danger
suck
of
small
letting baby
objects
touch
like coins
small objects
and other
like
bits
coins
of metal
and the
is
other bit
that
of
they
metal
might
is that
swallow or choke
they
on
might
them.
swallow or
Choke on them.
choke on them.
Very good. Okay, so that's the end of our revision. Let's have new
Mm.
word.
Mm.
Okay, so repeat ounce,
Ounce,
pound,
pound,
stone,
ton,
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 kilogram,
kilogram,
tons of.
tons of.
Very good. Okay, okay, listen.
Mm.
16 ounces equals 1 pound. So 16 ounce
Mm.
Ounce.
equals
60
one
ounce
pound. 14
equals
pounds
1 pound.
equals one stone. 160 stones equals 1 ton. So there are about 2.2 pounds in 1 kilo.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, so let's practice. How many ounces make a pound? How many ounces make a pound? 16
Mm.
ounces make a pound.
60 ounces make a
How
pound.
many pounds make a stone? How many pounds make a stone?
Mm.
14 pounds make a
40
stone.
pounds make a stone.
How many stones make a ton? How many stones make a ton? 160 stones make a
160
ton.
stones make a ton.
How many pounds are there in a kilo? How many pounds are there in a kilo? There
Mm.
are 2.2
There are
pounds
2.2
in a
pound,
kilo.
2 point in a kilo.
One more. There are
There are
2.2 pounds
2.2 pounds
in a kilo.
in a kilo.
Would you be unhappy if you had a job that paid you tons of money? Would you be
Mm.
unhappy if you had a job that paid you tons of money?
Mm.
No, I wouldn't
No,
be unhappy
I wouldn't be unhappy
if I had a job
if I had a
that
job
paid me tons
that
of
paid me
money.
tons of money.
Very good. What happens if you neglect to clean your teeth each day?
Mm.
What happens if
Mm.
you neglect to clean your teeth each day? If you
Mm.
neglect to clean
If you neglect
your teeth
clean
each day,
your teeth each
they will
day,
decay.
they will decay.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Rate.
Rate.
Very good. Okay, listen. Rate is a noun. It means the
Mm,
speed at which something happens over a
mm,
period of time.
mm,
For
mm,
example, the average person walks about 3 miles per hour.
mm, mm,
Another meaning of rate is an amount
mm,
that is paid to someone.
mm,
For example, doctors, scientists, and engineers have high pay rates because their
mm,
professions involve high levels of skills, risk, and
mm,
responsibility.
mm, mm,
Let's practice. At what
mm,
rate do you think the average person walks? At what rate do you
mm,
think the average
mm.
person walks? I think the
I think
average person
the average
walks
person
at about
walks
3
at about
miles per hour.
3 miles per hour.
Why are the pay rates in certain professions very high? Why are the
Mm,
pay rates in certain professions very high?
mm.
The pay rates in certain
The pay rate
profession
in certain professions
are very high
are very high
because the
because
profession involve
the profession
high levels
involve
of skill,
high level of
risk,
skill, risk,
responsibility, etc.
responsibility, etc.
Very good. Next, repeat. Patience,
Patient,
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 impatient.
impatient.
Very good. Okay, listen. Patience is a noun. It means the
Mm,
ability to remain calm and not become annoyed
mm,
when dealing with
mm,
problems or with difficult people.
mm,
For
mm,
example, I waited for my friend for 2 hours at the train
mm,
station, but I didn't get
mm,
upset or annoyed because I have a lot of patience.
mm, mm,
Patient is the adjective of the noun patient. For
mm,
example,
mm,
I waited for my friend for 2 hours without being annoyed or upset. I'm patient
mm,
enough to wait for her.
mm,
Impatient is also an adjective. It is the opposite of patient.
mm,
Let's practice. Do you agree that
mm,
patience is a virtue? Do you agree that patience
mm.
is a virtue? Yes or no?
Yes,
I agree that
I
patience
agree
is a virtue.
that patience is a virtue.
Do you consider yourself a patient or impatient person? Do you consider
Mm.
yourself a patient or impatient person? I consider myself
I consider myself
a
a impatient
person.
person.
Hmm,
Mm,
very good.
mm.
Okay. Next, repeat. Refresh.
Refresh,
Refreshment.
refreshment.
Very good. Okay, listen. Refresh is a verb. For example, after a
Mm,
long and tiring day of work, I refresh
mm,
myself with a big meal, glass of wine,
mm,
a warm bath, and sleep.
mm,
That's how
mm,
to refresh yourself.
mm,
Okay. Refreshment is a noun. It means small amount
mm,
of foods and drinks.
mm,
For example, when I was a student, I always refresh myself with some refreshments from the school
mm,
cafe or from a
mm,
vending machine and ate and drank it on my way home.
mm,
Let's practice. How do you refresh yourself after a long and tiring day? How do you
mm.
refresh yourself after a long and tiring day?
Mm.
I refresh myself
I
after
refresh myself
a long
after
and tiring
a long
day.
and tiring day,
Tiring day. By
tiring day by I listen music.
listening to music.
By listening music
To music.
to music.
One more. I refresh myself
I refresh myself
after a long
after
and
a long
tiring day
and tiring day
by listening to music.
by listening to music.
Very good. Are there any refreshments available at this school? Are there any
Mm,
refreshments available at this
mm.
school? No, there aren't
No,
any
there aren't
refreshments available
any refreshment
at this
available
school.
at this school.
Very good. Next, repeat pause.
Pause.
Very good. Okay, listen. Pause is a noun. It means a
Mm,
period of time in which something is stopped before it is started
mm,
again. For example,
mm,
I don't like people who go on talking about themselves without a pause for hours and hours.
mm,
Let's practice.
mm,
Do you like people who go on talking about themselves without a pause for hours and hours?
mm,
Do you like people who go on talking about themselves without a pause for hours and hours?
mm.
Yes or no?
No,
I don't like people who go on talking
I don't like people
about themselves
who go talking
without a pause
about themselves
for hours and
without
hours.
a pause for hours and hours.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading. Okay, reading is at stage 10,
Okay,
paragraph page 879. Last headword was curious
17
investigate. Okay, start with the third
investigate.
question.
Okay.
What do we call a police officer?
What do we call a police officer who investigates criminal?
Investigate crimes.
We call a police officer who uh, we call
A,
crimes.
we call a police
We call a
officer,
police officer who investigates criminals.
not
A
criminal,
detective.
crimes. Investigate crimes.
A, a crimes. A detective.
Very good.
Name.